Hi, I'm Thomas Harper, Senior Legal Advisor for International Humanitarian Law for the American Red Cross. I want to thank you for your interest in the Youth Action Campaign and our Junior ROTC competition. I want to note before we get started that this competition is not limited to Army Junior ROTC cadets. While the American Red Cross does have an MOU with Army Cadet Command, that does not mean that this competition is limited to only Army Junior ROTC cadets. In fact, Junior ROTC cadets from any branch are eligible to compete in this competition. I want to take just a moment to introduce you to the American Red Cross IHL team. We're led by Colonel Retired Randy Bagwell, who serves as the Senior Director for International Services, U.S. Programs. Randy is a career Army Judge Advocate by trade. Our Youth Action Campaign is led by Larissa Hatch, our Youth Programs Officer. And I'm Thomas Harper, our Senior Legal Advisor. Like Randy, I'm also an Army Judge Advocate by trade, having served a little more than 7 years on active duty, and I still serve in that capacity as an Army Reservist. International Humanitarian Law, or IHL for short, is probably a bit different than the law of armed conflict or rules of engagement that many of you may have been trained on or used in practice during your military careers. IHL focuses on the set of rules that protect civilians, victims, and fighters who are injured or no longer in the fight during times of conflict. When fighters follow these rules carefully, there is less suffering for the victims of armed conflicts.
The Youth Action Campaign is our youth program to teach IHL at the American Red Cross, and it is a peer-to-peer program that aims to inform young people on the rules of armed conflict, where they can educate their communities on the important issues within the international humanitarian law space. It is intentionally a youth leadership program for them to lead their peers and communities in these important global issues. They also receive volunteer hours or community service hours for their efforts. We're excited to bring this program in the form of a competition to your cadets. Next steps and full details of the competition can be found on both the JROTC and Red Cross website. First, select a coach and register your team. Choose a JROTC instructor, parent, or volunteer to serve as the coach and lead the program. Then you can register the JROTC team in the form on our website to sign up for the competition. You'll then be able to download the toolkit containing the curriculum and additional instructions. Then you'll train your JROTC team. Once the coach registers the team and downloads the curriculum, they will take the team through a training on both IHL and best practices for building an effective awareness campaign. We're all aware of how busy you are as instructors, so we hope you'll find the pre-designed materials helpful. You will then help your cadets implement the campaign activities. As IHL advocates, your cadets can conduct classroom presentations, panel discussions, simulations, movie nights, and more to meet your in-person campaign goals. Track your in-person and social media outreach throughout the campaign to receive credit for spreading awareness about IHL. And finally, compete to win. Throughout the campaign, report your activities through the portal. Winners will be awarded prizes, and members of the winning team will be invited to a fully funded trip to the annual IHL Youth Action Campaign Summit in Washington, D.C. Here is our webpage on the official U.S. Army Junior ROTC page. There is information as well as the link to navigate to register on the Red Cross page to get started. Each year we have a theme, and this year's is about how education is affected by armed conflict. We think this year has been unique in that the pandemic has offered the perspective of seeing that school is a privilege, and even our formal education system can be disrupted. Within the IHL framework, students will learn about how IHL offers protections to schools, as in they are not allowed to be targeted, ensure that continued education even under occupation occurs, and prohibits conscription and the use of child soldiers. We then leave them with a call to action. What can they do to advocate for this important cause?
There are a wide range of reasons why your cadets should participate in the American Red Cross's IHL competition. First and foremost, the goal or mission of this competition aligns directly with the goal or mission of Junior ROTC programs across the country, and that is to develop better citizens who are more informed. And in the case of this competition, develop informed citizens who can encourage their governments to uphold IHL and limit the impacts and destruction of armed conflict. Whether we realize it or not, young people are exposed to all sorts of media, from television shows to movies and video games, that downplay the effects of violence and disregard the reality and effects of armed conflict. Destruction and violence are cheapened in this way. Meanwhile, young people are fighting in these conflicts. In the United States, as many of you well know, the average age of enlistment is just 21 years old. Now, these same youth are active participants in global discourse now more than ever, and they have the means to communicate to mass audiences, oftentimes from the phone in their pocket. Youth, to include and especially junior ROTC cadets, can become well-informed leaders and promoters of IHL. This extracurricular competition helps fulfill the junior ROTC service requirement and offers a multitude of benefits for cadets that are involved in it. The competition is great for college applications and resume building. It will cultivate leadership, personal responsibility, critical thinking, and citizenship in participating cadets. The IHL competition has already touched the lives of junior ROTC cadets who have participated in it. I encourage you to pause this recording, take a look at these quotes, and see the direct impact that this competition has had on cadets across the country. As a former junior ROTC cadet myself, I know just how much that program shaped and helped mold me into a better citizen. Had I had the opportunity to compete in a competition like this, I would have jumped at the opportunity, and it almost certainly would have made me a better citizen and a more informed citizen in the process. I want to thank you for your time in viewing this presentation. As you can see on this slide, there are clickable links for additional information about the competition to include from the Army Junior ROTC website. I will note, as I did at the beginning of this slideshow, that this competition is not limited to Army Junior ROTC cadets or programs. While the American Red Cross currently has an MOU with Army Cadet Command, that does not limit any other junior ROTC program from any other branch from competing in this competition. And lastly, our email address in case you want to reach out for any questions or further discussion is there at the bottom of the slide. Thank you, and we hope to see you in this competition soon.